I want to say this. We had a lot of interns who basically donated their time to make those programs happen. We had guys like John Coots, Juan Sambedu sitting in the director's chair, Barbara Hogan, Annie Pern, Brad Resnick, other people from throughout the town, a lot of high school students who came over, took up the reins, they would learn what it was about, and then they would go out and help us with productions.
You deserve a lot of credit. You see Laura Wanko on sixth grade, and one of the ones I want to tell you about was one of the shows you produced with Hester, and I don't know if it was the Giorgio, the Call-In one.
Oh, yes.
That was a tremendous concept.
We got a call from the Mets Stadium on the line with somebody out watching a Mets game, and John and I are Mets fans. I mean,
sad for yous.
Yes, I mean, what can you say? But I'm sitting in the control room, and we had a phone person answer the phone, and they go, all right, it's blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, they're sitting there cracking up because a call is coming in from the Mets. And I'm like, all right. I thought it was a prank, but on the phone hookup in the control room, you could hear the crowd in the background. Yeah. And it's like, no, this is for real. We went through a lot of fun shows. Probably the show that was the most fun to do was our initial sports series back in the days when we had Leslie Johnson here. Pat Longo, great sports person.
Yeah. Yep.
But during that era, we used to do a weekly show, and we often had the kids in to be guests. And the things that would happen behind the scenes, if you could roll video on that, you would have a show that would be $1 million seller. We have a lot of talented people right here in the heart of Bayonne. I mean, you guys got a great show.
Thank you.
I did not mean, no, you do. You have a great show, and a lot of people watch it. People will come up to me. A lot of people still think I am working here at Cablevision. They'll say, you know, that Mike and the Coach show is a good show, and I'll tell them, that's good, but you need to let the people that produce the show know about the show. Often...
But we get a lot of help from people, too. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Including yourself.
Yeah.
Well...
And it doesn't mean you physically have to be here technically, and you've worked on our set.
Yes, I have.
When we have done shows, and just your voice in our ears means a tremendous amount. But Jim, you've produced many, many shows, and now we got you here in front of the camera, but you've done everything. And
I have to compliment you guys, because when I first started doing television, I made the statement, I am a person who is behind the camera. You have a camera operator, I love doing camera. Behind the camera is directing and producing what goes on, and I enjoy doing both of those things. And to sit here on this stage, this is the first time I've sat on this stage and done a show. And I don't think anybody else could have gotten me to do it but the two of you.
If you won, you'll win the election.
I'm going to tell you something. That roll-in that we did ended when it did. I had to stop it. It got to like 6 minutes, and I had to tell people that's it. There's no more. Nobody else can thank them. That's it. You know. So I had to turn people down for that. We could have done a half-an-hour show of people.
He's still producing shows. You know? This guy's producing shows right now. You know that. Yeah.
Well, I love sports. You know, my partner, John Hester. I don't know, when John and I first met, we met when I was still employed by cable, and I was looking for an announcer, somebody who could carry a ball game and do a good job. And there was a guy, Joe Wisniewski. Joe used to have a show here.
Joey Wiz,
and
on the east side.
He told me about this guy, John Hester. So I sat there and I said, all right, yeah, because, you know, you get a lot of people that give you information and it's like, yeah. So anyway, I got to meet John, and instantly I liked the voice. And the attitude behind the voice was great. And then you got to know the person, and we've been great friends ever since.
And there's no dead air with John.
No.
He got the juice, man. Yeah. He got the juice. We had him on the show. He's Mr., what do we call him, sports personality?
Well, the voice of Bayonne.
The voice of Bayonne sports.
Right, he is.
But this is Mr. TV of Bayonne, because TV, cable, public access shows, sports, you're behind the scene. You're the creator here. People don't really know this. But if you go back, you're the guy.
Well, you know, we keep saying people don't know it, but during the course of doing that roll-in, I was surprised to find out how many people do know. You know, and you saw like Andy went nuts with his bit there. You know, that was all his idea how he was going to do that.
I tell you, Andy would put a fork into a burnt piece of toast and find a way to make it come back to life.
I just want to ask you one thing too, and
Yeah.
not to steal your thunder. How many years of cable, and what dissipated? I know they say funding, but that's crap because you did more stuff for free than you were getting paid for.
No. In all honesty, Cablevision, great company. I have no ill things to say about Cablevision, but it comes down to a matter of economics. The company was having a lot of problems, financial problems, and the board of directors were getting on them very, very hardly.
Right.
So, from my understanding, when it comes time to make adjustments to save money, what you have to do is look at where you can make cuts. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't take anything personally. It's purely numbers. You have a person making the salary that I was making and the benefits that I'm making, and everything that I was doing at the time ceased to exist. They no longer produced the programs that I was doing. Mm-hmm. So basically my job went away. And when I was notified that that was happening, I got a phone call from my boss, and it was a sad moment for both of us. You know, we've been friends for a long time. And it was actually a blessing in disguise. You reach a point of saturation. You get to where you're on the go and you don't have time for some of the other important things in your life. And the most important thing in my life is my family. Mm-hmm. And I found out that I was spending so much time at work, running around doing the various things that I was doing, that my 3 little girls, Delonda, who's 9, Juliana, who's 8, and Kiana, who is 4, my wife, Sandy, who I won't tell her age, but they were giving of me, and everybody else around me was benefiting, but they weren't. Mm-hmm. And when the time came that I left cable, I found a new relationship with my family. And that's been a very wonderful thing. You know, I get to enjoy my girls. I look at, you know, one friend in town, Jimmy Sisk, and Jimmy Sisk has a lovely family. Mm-hmm. And I see Jimmy, we go over to School 14, we're outside waiting for our kids to get done. And it's like you learn a new side to things. And that's been great. Earlier I said, Bayonne is one of the last places in the world I thought I would ever be. But this is a wonderful community, and it's got a lot of great people in it. And the main reason why I remain in Bayonne is because it is a place where your children can grow. Mm-hmm. And you still have control over what they do. Wonderful education system.